Hello, anybody there? Welcome. We're back. Another day in the market. Hope everybody's doing well. We got a lot to talk about. Nothing too crazy. We're gonna start off with Bitcoin. Then we're gonna talk about the other altcoin trades. Then we're gonna spend some time talking about the market. After that, we're gonna talk about CLOV, FSR, the other ongoing trades, and then we'll probably have time for ticker requests. So yeah, hopefully everybody had a good day in the market. Fortunately, I made it this week so far. I've been trading a little bit, just not how I normally do. Let's just put it like that. So I don't know. Hopefully tomorrow's a bounce back day for me. But last week was great for me. So it is what it is. But yeah, what's up, JG, Austin, Michael, two different Michaels in the chat. That confused me for a second. Lauren, Miroslav, sorry if I mispronounced that. Sunny, how's everybody doing? So let's get started with Bitcoin. Currently still kind of flat. If you look at the daily, there's not much of a difference, honestly. If you go over to the 4-hour though, you have potential triple hidden bullish divergence if this low holds. Also kind of got a bullish pin bar. It's not perfect. And you did fall under this demand line for a little bit. We talked about that demand line last night on the stream. Fell under it for a little bit and then it closed above it. So still above that on the 4-hour. That's really it. You got some 4-hour hidden bullish divergence, which implies a continuation to the upside. We'll see if Bitcoin can get it. I think short term, probably 53K is your support. So your low from right over here. If you break that, then you have really just 50K. And then resistance is 59.5K, which is resistance back from May of this year, March of this year. Yeah, so from March and May, that was a resistance. So that's really it for Bitcoin. In terms of the other altcoin trades, unfortunately, 2 of them have to be marked as a break even on the sheet. I think we talked about this possibly happening last night. The first one is OXT, which was up about 18% at one point, actually a little bit more. It was up 20% at one point. It came all the way back down to the entry. You know the rules of the sheet. When a trade goes up over 10% and it comes back down to the entry, there's no reason why a trade up 20% should ever be a losing trade. Now, of course, this is still possible. The technicals really haven't changed too much. It still could go ahead and hit those targets. So it's completely up to you. That's just how I run the sheet, because what really sucks is when you have a trade do this and then it goes all the way here, right? It was up 20% and it becomes 14% loss. That just doesn't make sense, but it does screw you over sometimes. If it comes back to the entry, it bottoms out there and then it actually goes hit the target. So just follow whatever plan works best for you. That's just how I run the sheet. Same thing happened to Zcash. Really not much of a technical change since the entry. It's actually up currently 4% since the entry, but at one point today, it did come back to the entry after being up 14% a few days ago. So that's really it for those. Just wanted to quickly cover that. And then UMA is still technically an ongoing trade. Got close to tapping the entry, but it didn't. And currently it's up 3% since the entry. Same thing as OXT and Zcash. It really hasn't had much of a technical change. But it pulled back a lot. This thing was up 25% since the entry at one point. So hopefully if you were in these, you took some sort of profits. It is frustrating that it didn't hit my targets. You never know. Maybe they do eventually. Maybe they don't, but we'll see. The good thing is that none of them can be losing trades. So, worst case scenario is a break even. But again, it's follow your own plan. That's really it for crypto. Let's talk about the market now. So yeah, right now futures are pretty flat. They were down quite a bit after hours, and then kind of when after hours finished, futures actually bounced a little bit, so now they're just flat. This is actually the S&P futures chart. I was looking at it before the stream. Kind of looks similar to the S&P, obviously, but maybe a little bit of like a potential inverse head and shoulders with some 4-hour hidden bullish divergence on futures. But I don't know, the neckline's really slanted. So I just wanted to bring that up. But in general, yeah, futures are flat. Talking about the S&P, let's look at the actual S&P 500. We're on the 4-hour. Again, you could make that same exact argument when it comes to the potential of an inverse head and shoulders. Just want to throw different ideas out there. So again, there's a chance we get an inverse head and shoulders on the S&P 500 in the next week or so. Well, it's not going to confirm until a neckline breaks, but just you could start developing it. In terms of the daily for the S&P, unfortunately, yesterday you broke under 4370, which was your support from over here. You broke back below that yesterday, and then you used it as resistance today. The same type of thing happened on the NASDAQ. where this 14.5K level, which was support over here, broke under that yesterday, and then it tested as resistance today, unfortunately. So you did have a breakdown, and then you flipped your previous support into a resistance between yesterday and today. That's not a good start to the week from a technical standpoint on high time frames. On low time frames, you have a different story, and I'm going to explain that a little bit further. So let's just stick to the S&P and the NASDAQ right now. We're just going to be talking about large caps and tech stocks, and then we'll talk about the Russell 2000 and the ARK ETF in a little bit to talk about small caps and mid caps, which did outperform today, which was really nice to see. But yeah, just starting off with large caps, the S&P and the NASDAQ. I'm gonna go back over to the S&P 500. One thing to note, other than pretty much these like 4 days where I'm highlighting right over here, other than that, I don't think there's been more than 3 or 4 days at all this year. All right, how do I put this? What's the best way to put this? So far this whole entire year, I might be wrong here. I looked through it really quickly. I was just kind of scanning through it on my phone. But I don't believe that we've had more than 3 or 4 days without having a green day after that, right? So you could have 3 red days and then you get a green day, or you could have 4 red days like you did over here, and then you get a green day. Even if we look at this right over here, you had 3 red days, right? So you had this red candle, this red candle, this red candle, and then you had a green day. Same thing here, 4 red days, green day. Right now we're on a 3 red day streak. So far this year, you don't really have more than 3 or 4 red days without having 1 green day. You just look at all of this price action. So still, my point last night was that I think we're going to be seeing some sort of a short-term bounce because of low time frames. This also could help signal that. But there's a couple of things we need to talk about. But yeah, today the price action on the S&P. Let's go over to the 30-minute and let's see where we opened. So today was the 12th. So this was pretty much the opening candle. Today was really just sideways. I did say I think we're going to be getting a bounce between today or tomorrow. Last night on stream, we got a little bit of a bounce. We had like a small morning flush, and then we did bounce up, I think, like 0.5% intraday, but then we also went back down 0.5%. So you did have a bounce in the morning session from 10 o'clock to around noon. You went up 0.5%. So you did get a bounce because of that 15-minute RSI we were talking about, but then you also did give up that bounce, unfortunately. But I'm going to go over to the lower time frames on the SPY, actually. Same thing pretty much. And the case still kind of stands. I think on low time frames, you're still at a level where it makes sense to bounce in the short term from a technical standpoint. Here are some other variables for the SPY. You're currently sitting at the golden retrace on the 15-minute, but you could also chart this on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. You got the golden retrace, you close at the golden retrace. Your RSI is still around these levels, where the last 4 times it was at this level, you saw some sort of a bounce. You had a 3% bounce, or a 2% bounce, a 2% bounce, and a 3% bounce. You only had a 0.5% bounce today off the low, and then you sold it off. And then I think there's some sort of hammer candles. Oh yeah, so you have a bullish pin bar on the 30-minute for the S&P 500, with potential hidden bullish divergence going into tomorrow. And 1 hour, the same thing, potential hidden bullish divergence with the bullish pin bar. So those lower time frames, kind of the same thing as last night. You still have signals on low time frames for a short-term bounce between, I honestly think, like tomorrow, but there's some ifs. Now I'm gonna explain those ifs in a second. But yeah, very, very short term, I'm bullish if certain things happen tomorrow, which I'm gonna talk about in a second. Midterm, I'm still like very, very confused. I'm not gonna say confused, but I just need more data. I'm open-minded midterm. That might be a better word than confused. But what are the ifs tomorrow, right? So you do have bullish technicals on the 15-minute, the 30-minute, and the 1 hour. But the ifs are catalysts. We have catalysts tomorrow, which could be good or bad. Shout out to Cheddar Freeze for sharing this in the Discord. So tomorrow we have CPI numbers at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So an hour before the market opens, we're going to get those numbers. And then on top of that, we have FOMC minutes, which I believe they're just going to be releasing the notes from the FOMC meeting on September 21st and September 22nd. September 21st was pretty much a flat day, and then September 22nd was the day that we were up 1%. And I believe we're getting the notes from that meeting. So yeah, you have those low time frame bullish technicals for the market going into tomorrow. And also I talked about that trend where you typically don't get more than 3 or 4 red days without seeing a green day this year. Of course, it's just a trend, it's not certainty. But these are other factors that could override those technicals. You know, I'm not going to say, how do I put this? You know, tomorrow, how people react to the CPI numbers will be telling, and then also how people react to the FOMC minutes will be telling. Now, what keyword, notice what I said there. I said how people react. I'm not saying if the CPI numbers are good, that'll be important, or if they're bad, that'll be important. And same thing for the FOMC. I didn't say if they're good or bad, that'll be important. How people react. Why am I saying it like that? Because we've had bad CPI numbers where we have a green open. We've had bad FOMC minutes, and by bad, I'm going to put some quotes around that. It's all subjective. It depends on what you're looking for as an investor, and it just depends on your thoughts of the economy and how you're trying to time the market. So everybody has different opinions. What might sound bad to one person might not sound bad to the other person. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that people agree on in general, where I think most people agree that the further we are away from interest rates rising, as well as tapering, as well as inflation starting to go down in the short term, the better. But you know, there's certain things, like a lot of things could already be priced in. We already read 3 days this week. So all I'm going to be saying is how people react to the numbers, not if they're good or bad. That's up to you and how you read those numbers, even though there are typically standardized ways to tell. I'm trying to make you think, okay? But yeah, keep all that in mind for tomorrow. I mean, so futures are flat. Let's say in the morning, futures are still flat. Then at 8:30 we get good CPI numbers, or how about we not say good? Let's say people react to CPI numbers well in the morning, and we have a green open. At that point, I think then you're gonna have a catalyst aligning with technicals on low time frames. So if we have a good reaction to CPI numbers and futures are up a little bit before the market opens, or we just have a large green candle at the open, basically, if we have good reaction to CPI numbers, I keep trying to not say just good, and then on top of the low time frame technicals, I think we have a pretty aggressive bullish market or bullish morning for the market. But then again, even if we do have a super bullish morning, you can kind of flip around if FOMC minutes, if people don't react to the FOMC minutes well. So it's really 50-50 going into tomorrow. That's why volatility is in the title of the stream. And yeah, I mean, you could have good CPI, bad minutes. You could have good CPI and good minutes. You could just mix it up however you want, and that could just mess with all the technicals and everything. So it's just very shaky tomorrow, and we'll see. Maybe nothing happens and it's a flat day and it's just very standard stuff. But there's just so many things aligning. You have bullish low time frame technicals, kind of bearish high time frame technicals. You're under some very important moving averages on the indices, but then you also have CPI numbers, FOMC minutes. You're coming off of a few red days. Earnings season is coming up. It's kind of like a lot of things are aligning for really tomorrow, and maybe even a follow through day on Thursday. So yeah, that's, you know, my thoughts for large caps going into tomorrow. We'll see what those numbers look like in the morning. However, even though large caps are on a red streak so far this week, small caps, mid caps did outperform. The Russell 2000 was up 0.5%. It's just kind of trying to hold this 200-day moving average. I did rechart my Russell 2000 chart. I think Anna in the Discord has been sharing this view of it. I used to have it just something like this. I had an upward demand line, and then I had a lower demand line, which is pretty much that. But now you can kind of see it is starting to develop into more of a triangle. So kind of in the middle of that. Go either way, kind of neutral on the Russell 2000 right now. And then for the ARK ETF, well, it did hit this 1 hour deep crab, I believe, and it's actually been making higher lows since. So definitely outperforming the market in terms of mid caps and small caps in the short term. So we'll see if that can continue. That's really it. I mean, for the ARK ETF, I'd say 106 is still your biggest level, but you do have a resistance just above you at 113 from this low, this candle high. So we'll see. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the market. All right, hopefully that helped. Also, two other things. The VIX was down today. It was down 1%, despite the S&P closing down 0.25%, but still making higher lows like we talked about. And then interesting stuff over here. We talked about this last night. Bond market opened. You pulled back. And where did it kind of, you know, everything here is just so technical, and it's really interesting to see that with something like the US 10-year. Like, you have super bullish technicals over here, descending broadening wedge into an ascending triangle. You break out of that, You break out of the wedge, you perfectly back test the wedge, you run again, then you go up to your next resistance at 164, which is a low from 2015, and then you pull back there. Like, it's just so cool to see how well things are playing out. I think Cheddar Freeze might have been talking about something like this in the Discord earlier today. Like that. I think the bow would be an 886. Maybe it's something else she's talking about. But maybe a little bit of a bearish harmonic could be forming here. Let me see what oh, actually no. This could actually be a bearish Gartley the way I'm looking at it, I think. Wait, no, that B point's a 382. Never mind. I was looking at the C point. So I don't know. A little bit of a mix there. But yeah, that's really it for the market today. Looking at the likes, we only have 23 likes. Not sure what's up there. Let's see. So yeah, let me see what's up in the chat, then we'll talk about CLOV. Chip shortages, Apple, it's crazy. David Chu says, I'm thinking gap down in the morning and crawl up over the day. We shall see. Futures actually have pulled back a little bit since I started streaming. Thank you for dropping the Discord link, Mehdi. Join the Discord if you're not in it. Try to freeze. Yeah, what's the bullish bat you're saying? Yeah, the likes came through real fast. Got Brad in the chat. Caleb says, started watching your series today and it is fire. Thank you. I think you're talking about the course. Yeah, free course is in the description if anybody wants to watch it. 3.5 hours long. All right, so that's it for the market. Let's talk about CLOV up next, which had a flat day. On the daily time frame, really nothing changed. You can't get much of a change with a 0.5% day, 0.5% red day. You had a doji candle pretty much. Inside day for CLOV. You still have the classic bullish divergence on the daily. Your 2-day chart still kind of looks the same as yesterday. And again, I'm just using this for a visual. I mean, it's pretty obvious how similar they look. March to May looks pretty similar from July to right now. But again, there was a lot of different factors there. We'll see. That's really it for the higher time frames. Not too much of a difference at all. If we go over to the 4-hour chart, you are losing a little bit of momentum on the 4-hour MACD. It's a lagging indicator. It's been pulling back a little bit. That kind of makes sense. And we talked about this level. All right, so talked about 812 last night on the stream, and I've been saying that you would want to get a 4-hour close above that level. It was your support on these two candles, support on these two candles, resistance on these two candles, kind of your resistance on this candle, and now it's your resistance again. You are getting above it intraday, but you're not closing 4-hour candles above that. So still going into tomorrow, it would be nice to see CLOV close above 812 on a 4-hour candle. Good news is you did have a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle, which I just noticed as your second 4-hour candle today. What else do we have? What did I talk about last night on stream? I said last night on stream, pretty much word for word. I don't actually remember the word for word, but I said, you know, if CLOV really can't get above this level tomorrow and it does pull back, look for something to happen. What did I say? Look for a cup and handle. All right. And we're starting to see that. So first of all, before I even talk about the cup and handle, just to note, similar to the S&P 500, actually, there's a bunch of bullish divergence on low time frames, hidden bullish divergence potentially on the 1-hour, hidden bullish divergence potentially on the 30-minute, on the MACD and the RSI, and then same thing on the 15-minute, you have confirmed hidden bullish divergence. And this is what we talked about last night on stream. I said last night on stream, look for a cup and handle if CLOV pulls back. You could chart this handle a little bit differently. I mean, at first I had the handle something like this, which still actually looks pretty decent. Then you see I moved it to look like this. You could chart that handle a little bit differently. Maybe even you could chart it like this, depending on if it rounds out tomorrow. So I'm gonna leave it like this now. I'm kind of going all over the place with how I'm charting my handle, but it doesn't really matter because it's the neckline that matters. So yeah, 820 is your neckline. If CLOV can confirm above 820, then you break out of your cup and handle. Then obviously if it confirmed above 820, then you'd also confirm above that 812 level on the 4-hour chart. So yeah, you know, 4-hour, 1-hour, even hopefully a daily close above 820 would be a breakout in my opinion. Of course, you'd like to see some volume there. Volume still has been pretty low. And yeah, good stuff. it handled out. And also, what else did I say about the cup and handle? Maybe it goes down to around 785. I said that last night on stream. Why did I say that? Because it's your low from over here in July and August. Go back to last night's stream. I talked about it. I said if CLOV pulls back, maybe it goes down to around 785-ish for the handle. I went down to 780. I was 5 cents off, but yeah, it pretty much went down towards that 785 area. The only reason I said that last night on stream was because it was pretty much the closest support if CLOV was to pull back, which it did. And yeah, it roughly bounced off that area. And if you're a premium member, we got like a nice 40% profit trade off of that today with options. Just bread and butter. This is what we do. So yeah, CLOV still, I'm not going to say it's being overly predictable. Sometimes it's a little bit weird. But I'm definitely very, like, all this makes sense to me. I said last night on stream, like, you know, today could have went either way and it would have been fine to me. CLOV still, even tomorrow, could go either way. As long as you don't have like a, you know, negative 10% red day, I don't think there's going to be much of a technical change until that daily MACD goes back to red. But again, you just got to look at the price action and yeah. All right, so there's your cup and handle. Yeah, I was just talking about that neckline. Cheddar Free says it's not a cup and handle until it breaks the neckline. It's only potentially forming. Yeah, for structure patterns, cup and handles, double bottoms, head and shoulders, they're not technically real patterns until you break your neckline. That's also, I did tweet out on Twitter, it could be a cup and handle potentially. I said like potentially twice in that tweet in the morning. So there you go. It's handling out. We'll see if it can confirm. And that's really it for CLOV. I haven't looked at the options data. I doubt there was much of a change because it barely moved today and the volume was low, but we could just take a look at it. Again, it looked just like this last night, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty much all calls that came through on the scanner from TradyTix. Same thing as yesterday, call and put volume kind of decreasing, just very little options activity. IV, historical IV rank is still low, which is good. And probably no change at all on the options chain. The 10 calls might have gone up a little bit. And 15 calls, I think, went up like 1,000 or something. So really, it's nothing notable to talk about in terms of options. I'll keep this up when we talk about Fisker, which Fisker, I'm wearing the Fisker hat for a reason right now, okay? And also the FTM shirt, pin chat if you want any merch. Quick plug right there. Oh no, it's not loading. I guess just not loading the options data. So maybe we won't look at it. But yeah, that's CLOV. Summary. Things still look fine to me as long as it doesn't have a harsh sell-off. If it does have a harsh sell-off, then I'd probably just look at Fibonacci levels for supports, honestly. Just like that. So you kind of bounced off of your 38.2% retrace today. 50% retrace is probably the deepest you want to see CLOV go for it to be a cup and handle. I don't like to call things cup and handles after they make more than a 50% retrace. Learned that from Mitch Ray. So that's around 767. I'm not saying it's going to go there. I'm just saying that's the lowest I'd want to see it go for this cup and handle to play out. But if it does end up breaking that, you actually have this 754 area, which is your golden retrace and a historical support, kind of. I think it dates back to like way in the past, but it was also your resistance over here and over here. And then 786 even lines up with this low. 886 doesn't really line up with anything. But yeah, those are all the different fib levels if, you know, CLOV is really red or whatever it is. But for right now, it looks fine. We'll see. And that is CLOV 820. We'll see if it can break it this week or not. All right, now Fisker. Beautiful day today. Wow, so it was up 4% today. Since the entry, Fisker's up 8%. It was up a lot more at one point, but good stuff. Some technical changes occurred today for Fisker, which I'm really happy to see, okay? First off, yesterday, I didn't really talk about this, but it was kind of like an inverted hammer candle or kind of like an upside down bullish pin bar. On the daily MACD, you now have the potential for, they're very small islands, but you have the potential for hidden bullish divergence on the daily MACD. You could probably see a lot more clearly. On the 4-hour, you have a nearly confirmed 4-hour hidden bullish divergence for Fisker on the MACD. And look at this. We've been talking about this down sloping channel for a while now. Broke out of it with confirmation today. Both 4-hour candles closed above this level today. Good job, Fisker. Even on the 1 hour, I think I shared this last night on stream, this falling wedge Look at it. I mean, perfect. All right, just some education here. Break, hook, and go. All right, so let's look at it. This was your break. It was your breakout of the wedge. This was your hook. You flipped your resistance into a support. So you had a break, you had a hook, and then you had a go. And the best goes, Mitch Ray talks about this, is when you get a nice large green candle with volume. Look at that. Like textbook break and go. Put this in your trading journal. I mean, technically you'd want to have only like one candle in between, then you'd bullishly engulf that candle. But just from a psychological standpoint, this is exactly what you want to see. All right, you have your break, you flip that previous supply line into a demand line, and you maybe ride it for a candle or two. This one, it was like 4. And then you, after just back testing and back testing for a little bit, you just get a large impulse right off that area with volume. And it even had followed through after the large impulse. So yeah, even this last 1 hour candle was the highest 1 hour candle close of the day. It closed higher than, like, it was just kind of in this mini range on the 1 hour, and then got a nice close above that. So yeah, good stuff, Fisker. We'll see if the technicals can revive this swing trade a little bit, even though it's up like 8%. Still under 1450, which is the important level, but with all these technicals, hopefully it gives it the steam to break above it. And yeah, that's really it for Fisker today. So let's see what's in the chat before I look at the rest of the stuff. Really, most of the swings are flat. Ford actually hit the second target though. Yeah, keep hitting that like button. Let's get to, I don't know if we can get to 50 likes right now, but if we could, that'd be cool. All right, let's see what's in the chat. Charles says, going to stream, watching the market, streaming on YouTube, just crushing it. Appreciate it, Blaze. Charles, I try my best. Today I've been up since 7 a.m. and I'm probably going to be up working till 11 p.m. And I didn't even go to college today, so yeah. Alfredo says, cup and handle on Investopedia also says avoid handles that are overly deep, as the handle should form the top half of the cup pattern. Absolutely. Yep, that's what I was talking about, that 50% retrace. I see a lot of people talking about cup and handles when they look like this, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, just, you know, a lot of people chart this out, and then they have their handle like this. And it's like, what? Yeah, typically, you know, Bulkowski talks about this. You want to have a small handle. Mitch Ray, that's where I kind of learned it from, talks about it. So yeah. 43 likes, thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the other ongoing trades. VIPS, this is a 2-year bullish bat on the weekly. It could take time. It could go up, it can go down. All that matters is where the swing trade ends. Again, keep an eye on the Chinese market right now. I think the HSI just opened. No, it hasn't opened yet, so we'll see. But yeah, it's pretty much just still around the entry. It already broke out of the wedge with classic bullish divergence on the daily. It already hit the PCZ of the bullish bat. On the weekly, it's losing negative momentum. Pretty simple, but also really cool. I mean, look at that ice line as well. We'll see how it ends up eventually. Yeah, I mean, last week was also the first green week for this stock in over a month, so that's good. NEO was completely flat today. It's just still kind of going a little bit sideways after the breakout of this falling wedge, after hitting the PCZ of a bullish bat. Out of support historically, similar to the IPS, another Chinese stock. Technicals are there. Just keep an eye on the Chinese market. They're kind of going sideways for right now. All that matters is where the swing trades end up. PVR was completely flat today. Doji candle, completely nothing to talk about there. Trip was up 1%, but still going sideways. Like, really not much to update on the swings, honestly. It's good that they're not selling off with the market. I mean, we've had a very low amount of trades get stopped out in the last 2 or 3 weeks, despite the market selling off. So that's good, but also they're not really doing super well because the market's not doing well at all. So they're just kind of going sideways, which I guess is better than like just red and red and red, like we saw back in the beginning of May and the beginning of March. But yeah, still just waiting for something on the swings. And then Ford did make a move today, actually hit the second target. This was alerted to everybody for free a few weeks ago. 17% gain, hit the second target. Look at that. Pretty much a dragon pattern with hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart. at a historical area, 17% move on Ford in a few weeks is very good. Okay, this is Ford we're talking about. It's not GameStop or something. So really good. I mean, hopefully we can get to that third target. That really is the next resistance for Ford. We'll see if we can get there. You are slightly overbought on the RSI. And that's your recap for the day. All right, so hopefully that was educational. Futures are pulling back a little bit, down about a fifth of a percent right now. I'm not too concerned about futures overnight. I think we'll see at 8:30 when the CPI numbers come out what the market looks like. All right. So yeah, 6 more likes, hit 50 likes. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Link is in the description. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, let me tell you something. We are currently sitting at 3490. We only need 10 more subscribers tonight. I don't know if we're going to get it. If there's 50 people in here, that means like a fifth of the people have to be not subscribed. I don't think we're going to get it tonight, but it would surprise me. I mean, it could definitely surprise me if we did. I don't know if you have a second YouTube account or something. But we are 10 subscribers away from hitting 3,500 subs, which is a really cool milestone. Hopefully we hit it this week. It's been a little bit slow in the past few weeks, honestly. Correlation to the market, obviously. But August was insane for sure. All right. So let's go over tickers for the rest of the stream. If you want me to take a look at a ticker, just drop it in the chat. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. Do not request any OTCs. Don't request anything up over 30% today. Why? Because I only look at all these charts in the eyes of a swing trader. I do day trade if you're a premium member. 9 out of the last 11 options trades in just the last week. We've had about 11 options trades in the last week. 9 of those have been winners, and the 2 that were losers, they actually went back up to the entry at one point. So almost an 11 win streak on options, which just kind of got screwed over with SPY calls, and one other. But even the one that went, so there was one other stock, I'm not going to mention it, but it went down 20% first, but then it went up all the way up to being up 20%. So I don't know. It would have been so cool to say we had an 11 win streak, but 9 for 11 is still pretty good in 1 week of trading options. So yeah, day trades are in premium, but the stream and all the other stuff is mainly just swings. That's why I say don't request anything up over 30%. And remember, nothing I say is financial advice. I think I said that already, but why not say it again? And don't request anything to IPO within the last month. All right. So I said all that ahead of time, so I don't have to keep repeating myself. And let's look at some takers. Big bad Brad says hold up. Let me get a couple homies to subscribe. I also got another YouTube account, so I'll subscribe from that. Thank you. I don't know why my widgets for subscriptions aren't popping up. We just did get 2 new subs. Got Champion Vibes T in the chat. What is up, the lump? Anything else? All right, we're gonna start off with skills. Potential classic bullish divergence on the daily, and that's about it. I don't know. It's under important levels, which is pretty much this whole entire zone. So under this zone is a little bit weird. There's no other real support historically. It is oversold. I mean, the oscillators are saying it's bullish, and it could bounce, but yeah, that's really about it. I mean, this is deeper than an 886, so you can't get a deep crab. I don't know. We'll see. Go either way. DraftKings, daily hidden bullish divergence. I just want to see it hold above 47.54. Yeah, that was your support from July of this year. It was your support on September 30th. You just want to hold above that. Next resistance is around $53. And it's probably sitting around a 78% retrace. A little bit shy of it, but pretty close. IVR, there's still a gap fill to 332. I do like how it's kind of rounding out a little bit. I like that. I just want to see it hold above $3. That's your support. Resistance is 332. If it breaks over that, then you got 358 as your 200-day moving average. Ethereum Classic. 47.12 is what I have charted as resistance. That's a previous all-time high from 2017 bull run. It was kind of your support over here, but I was just chopping around it. Next resistance I see is around 77.39 from this double top, even kind of this candle low. And yeah, I don't really see much else to talk about apart from that. It's just kind of testing the 200-day moving average right now. Maybe you could chart a little bit of a broadening wedge though. TKAT. Let me zoom in first. If we're gonna zoom in, I think 687 is your support from the last like week or so. This could be a harmonic, let's see. Pretty close to a bullish cipher. The C point I think should be a 1.13 for it to be textbook, but apart from that, you got a bullish cipher. And look, it's not really bouncing too much at the PCZ. I mean, technically it has bounced up about 10%, actually good. So it's bounced up about 10% since hitting the PCZ of this bullish cipher. And yeah, 687 is the important level I see. You are kind of losing negative momentum on the daily, not really divergence, just bullish convergence. And it certainly is a deep retrace. SOFI broke out of this really important level. Look at this, all right? So inverse head and shoulders. I know Mehdi has been talking about this one for over a month at least. So good job there. But the 1781 level broke above it really well yesterday on I think the highest volume ever. And look what it did today. It back tested the 200-day moving average and that level perfectly, and then off of that low, it rallied all the way up to $19. I mean, low of the day to high had a 6% move, and highest candle close on this stock since June 30th. Next major resistance is $21. You are almost overbought on the RSI, but you're not yet overbought on the RSI on the daily, so there is more room. I just want to see it hold above 1781. That's the important level. It just broke it with good volume. If it falls under that, that's just kind of weak, but right now it's pretty strong, so hopefully it just stays strong. TDOC, this is pretty close to a bullish shark, double bottom at the PCZ, and now it's just kind of going sideways. So this 129 level was your support on May 13th. Hopefully it can hold that and then eventually break over this supply line. If it does, has room back up to like 174. If it can't, then major support's 89. Again, these are very long-term numbers. I'm really zooming out on the chart here. I'm not saying any of this is happening tomorrow. I'm talking about very long-term stuff here, potentially. All right. Yeah, keep hitting that like button if you didn't already. Mehdi's saying SOFI may start looking bearish soon. I'm just looking at that level. Hopefully you can hold it. We already looked at CLOV Andre. Brad, thank you for subscribing on your other account. We already looked at Fisker as well. It'll be in the timestamps. Whenever, every single time I stream, Mehdi does the timestamps. I share them on Twitter and in the Discord. So either follow me on Twitter at Champion Vibe and wait till like an hour after the stream, or join the Discord and wait till like an hour after the stream if you ever miss anything that I said we already talked about, or if you ever miss a stream in general and you just want to watch specific parts. Now keep in mind, me doing timestamps on the streams, or Mehdi and I guess, it literally like crushes the algorithm because it's all about watch time. And when I do timestamps, you're just going to watch the parts you're going to want to watch. You're not going to watch the whole stream. So it does kind of crush me when it comes to the algorithm, but I want to make it easier for all of you whenever you miss a stream. So yeah. AFRM, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that it went this high. Well, it's at its only resistance really, the previous all-time high. In terms of supports, we could probably zoom in at this point. I'd say your closest support is 133 from this high over here. If you break that, then 107. And if you do break to a new all-time high, you could just use Fibonacci from the previous all-time high to the all-time low. And your next fib level, the 1272, will be at 174. A little bit of bearish divergence, quadruple bearish divergence on the RSI currently. 4 lower highs on the RSI with 4 higher highs. So keep that in mind, but we'll see. Let's skip that song. Nike, wow. I mean, yeah, technicals are fake. They're fake. Why did it randomly bounce off of a previous area that was support 3 different times with an oversold RSI? Super fake technicals are playing out. Let's see. Got a broadening wedge on the daily. I like it above 147, previous quadruple top of a range. I don't even know the best way to put that. Oh, and also it was a 200-day moving average. So again, technicals are super fake, as everybody says. They never work. When I see stuff like that clear, it just makes me laugh. You do have a gap fill to about 158 on Nike. You have another one at 163.5. So a couple gap fills. Yeah, I like it above 147. Of course, it could back test that. But for now, we'll see. It's kind of in between 147 and this gap fill at 158. Charge point is kind of springing here. It's trying to get back above this quadruple bottom 1953 from March to May. If it can hold it, great. If it can't, then your next support is your previous swing low at 1750. And also this, look, all right. Again, technicals are super fake. 1750 was where it bottomed out in the short term. Oh, look, in the past, it was your high on October 20th. That's crazy. So maybe even some classic bullish divergence as well. Triple classic bullish divergence on the daily. You really zoom in. Let me try and make this look a little bit better. There we go. Kind of like the same low on these two MACD islands, but yeah, that's playing out as well. Have a good one. Cheddar Freeze. Good luck to the Dodgers. Root has triple classic bullish divergence as well. If you want to learn what that is, watch the course, links in the description. That's really about all I got for Root right now. Yeah. I mean, I already have some levels charted out for you. FUBO, yeah, might not go down to the 886 at this point. I shared this on, I think, stream a couple weeks ago. I know I shared it on Twitter, but there was like a few different scenarios when FUBO was right over here. Right now, it is choosing to reclaim above 25, so we can delete all that other stuff. Probably gonna delete this as well. So, yeah, looks actually really similar to Charge Point. Kind of trying to spring back above a previous support. That's about it. Hopefully you can hold 2483. If not, then you got 2250-ish as your next support. In terms of resistance, you got 2880 and then 30 bucks. UAL, it broke above 49, went up to around 52. Now it's trying to back test 49. Hopefully it can hold above 49. It does say earnings on the 19th on TradingView, so keep that in mind if that's true. And yeah, that's really it. Hopefully it can hold 49. Chainlink probably depends on Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't know. Just testing this level. This was a low from September 7th, kind of your low from March 24th, also a high on August 7th. So it's like 2490-ish level. It's testing it. Did kind of have a bullish hammer on the daily. Not much no divergence on the daily currently. That's really all I got. If it can hold above 25, then 30 is your next level for Chainlink. If it can't, then 20 is your next level. But if we chart the line here, there's your low on this day, your low on this day, and your low on these 2 days. So it's just kind of in the middle right now. Ethereum, also in the middle of a range. Support's 29.22, resistance is 39.61. You do have a mini resistance over here as well at 36.47. Or let me be a little bit more accurate, 36.71 from this candle high and this candle high. So those are your levels on Ethereum. That's it. XELA, pretty much at the bottom of at the apex of a falling wedge with classic bullish divergence. Not bad at all. I think 155 is the clearest level I see. Kind of your high over here. It was your low over here. Kind of chopped around it over here. If that doesn't hold, then you have a gap fill like 152. So in general, I would just like to see it hold above this whole entire area as well, just above this gap area, right? So yeah, I mean, this could be a potential reversal zone for XELA with the classic bullish divergence as well. So hopefully it can hold that zone. And then resistance, I'd say first resistance is going to be 215 from this low, and even from this high, and even from this low. Wow, that's so crazy. Even from this high, wow. Technicals. Facebook tested the 200-day moving average and painted a bullish pin bar candle off the 200-day moving average. It is pretty much the lowest RSI level since January, the last time the RSI was over here. It had a 17% rally in 2 weeks. Maybe a broadening wedge as well. I'll keep this on my watch list actually, and I'm going to keep XELA on my watch list. So good job, Marvin and Nicholas. All right. Yeah, keep hitting that like button. We're close to 250 likes. We're not at it yet, though. All right, OLB will be the final ticker of the night. Futures still down a little bit. XL did have... No, it did not actually. You opened a little bit higher than your previous close, so it's not a textbook bullish engulfing, but psychology is very similar. I don't know. Maybe it's not really. It's at a 1 retrace. I'm gonna delete that actually. So clear way to view this. 540 is your support from this low. This low. You got under for a little bit, but you closed above it today. So you just want to hold above close above 540. If you can't do that for long enough, there's not much resistance until 7 off this level, but it needs to hold it. That's really all I got. SENS. Let me just delete everything. I don't know. It's just kind of going sideways after breaking a supply line. It actually might have just broken the supply line today. So maybe a little falling wedge inside this range. Not a super well-defined range, but yeah. And then OLB. This one's super volatile. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Pretty close to a bullish bat. Let's see if it was one. Actually, the beat point might be too low. Yeah, beat point was too low. But apart from that, pretty close to bullish bat. A bat and Gartley mixture. I'd say your resistance is around 527 from these two lows, and I'd say your support's around 430 from these two lows. That's really it. You're right in between them. So, yeah. I have not seen that Neutron. Alright, so thank you everybody for watching the stream tonight. If you're not on the Discord, links in the description. If you're not subscribed, let me see how many subs we got to tonight. There we're 5 subscribers away. I don't know if there's 5 people unsubscribed watching the stream right now, but I guess we'll just hit that milestone tomorrow night. And we'll celebrate it then. So if you want to celebrate, I mean, there's no certainty. Hopefully we can get 5 subs tomorrow, but we'll see. So maybe we celebrate 3,500 subs tomorrow, maybe we don't, but watch the stream regardless. I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. EST. Thank you for watching the stream. Yeah, subscribe. Peace out.
fog that burns with the first daylight of reality.